Hi, everyone. It's Rick Soderbeer with Love for a Lifetime in Kansas City. I am a dating coach, an author, a speaker, a blogger, and I am the co-author of the book Dating Backward. And that book is about dating and finding your extraordinary relationship. And I'm trying to get wires behind me here. Um, it's available on Amazon.com. And so let's get started tonight with tonight's topic of creating an extraordinary relationship through knowing or gaining great clarity in what you want in a relationship. Now, one of the things that the first thing that I teach my students is or clients is that you have to know exactly what you're looking for in your relationship. It's like setting any other goal. If you have a goal to buy a car, you spend time researching and figuring out exactly the details, the features, the benefits of that car. The same thing has to happen with a relationship. I contend that the more specific you are in your relationship, in your must-have list, the greater the greater odds of success of your relationship. Now, when you create a list, what should you put on that list? Well, these are only the things that are absolutely drop dead important to you. And I see Mindy has joined us in the background here. Mindy, if you'd like to have a seat, please join us. I'd love to visit with you. And again, going back to what you have on that list, again, only the things that you want in that relationship. If it's a would be nice to have, it doesn't belong on the list. If it's something that you can live without, it doesn't belong on the list. Always write this list or make this list in the positive. You always want to. Hey, Mindy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. And have you had a good day?
It has been an awesome day.
Good. It's even better now that you're here with me, right?
It is, and my must-have list is that every year we must go away for our anniversary, and we're doing that tomorrow morning. So
fantastic.
So I'm here with you this evening, and then getting out of Dodge tomorrow.
Well, good for you. Where are you going?
We're headed to Branson.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Couldn't have picked a little warmer spot, but it's out of town. And it's
Florida was on the list, but that's a plane ride and it's a full day of travel on either side. So you know, Florida will wait.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, well, welcome, and we just got started, and I was just going in through my explanation of must-have lists, and again, the importance of having this list is that it keeps you focused, because what happens, it keeps you focused on the relationship that you want to have. When you step into a relationship, we're all clouded with a veil of infatuation. The hormones are raging and lying to us and telling us one thing, and when our minds may be telling us something else. And what we want to do is we want to be able to step back from that relationship or that killer date, and the next morning start taking a look and seeing if we spot any of the red flags, or if any of the must-haves are missing. Because when we're under that veil of infatuation, we tend to ignore the red flags. We tend to say, yeah, I can live with that. I can work with that. But the reality is probably not. You have it's one of those things that if you like the toilet paper to go over the top of the roll, and they like the toilet paper to go under the roll, that can make a big difference. While it's not, it shouldn't be the end of the world. It's a good example of things that can cause problems later on down the road.
And there's some warning signs that we, as we're in the dating scene, we have to be paying attention for off the bat. And I spent my afternoon with a client who didn't pay attention to the red flags that are on her must-have list. And it was discovered today that the guy that she's been dating is a con artist. And she has lost $145,000 to this con artist because she wasn't paying attention to the must-haves. She was making justifications for why she was not paying attention to those red flags that were popping up, and not, he wasn't, those must-haves that she was ignoring that he didn't have would have prevented those red flags from popping up everywhere.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that I try to teach people is this list, while it may seem cold, is absolutely critical in paying attention to what's going on in front of you. Our friends can see what the relationship is like. Our family can see what it's like, and they can tell us. They should be telling us what's going, whether it's a good relationship or looks good or doesn't look good. Perfect example, I had a conversation with my dad over Christmas, and he was talking about his marriage, and he said he had, and it's not a great marriage. And he said he had 4 different people come to him before he got married and tell him that she wasn't the right one. But one of the things that we say in our heads is that, well, what the hell do they know? They don't spend this time with her. They don't know what she's like in private. Well, they can see some of the external signs very clearly that we are obviously ignoring. So it's vitally important to make that list. And one of the arguments I also hear often is that, well, what about spontaneity? What about serendipity? Yeah, okay, great. There's plenty of room for spontaneity and serendipity in the relationship. It's just, don't compromise on your values and on what you want in that relationship. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious, when you find that people have compromised on their values and what they want in a relationship, what does the future of the relationship typically look like?
It usually looks pretty bleak. Because what happens when we wake up or when we come out of that infatuation, and depending on which study you listen to or look at, infatuation lasts anywhere from 6 months to 4 years. And so when you finally wake up and you come out of that haze, and more than likely you've already slept with each other, and statistically, most couples do that by the 6th date. And
wow,
yeah, about 85% of couples will, or 80% of couples will have slept together by the 6th date. Only 3% of men and 5% of women will wait until marriage. So there's about 15% in there that wait something longer than 6 dates. That could be anywhere from the first week to the first month of a relationship. Maybe if you're dating once a week, or you might make it to 6 weeks. If you're only dating once a month, you might make it to 6 months, but
it's still the 6 days.
It's still 6 dates. That's right. And so the point there is, you really don't get enough time to get to know each other, and get to know if this is somebody that you want to spend time with. And again, what happens is we wake up, and if we've slept with each other, we wake up somewhere down the road and say, is this all we've got? Is a physical relationship?
Yeah. We find ourselves making excuses for having ignored red flags, for not having paid attention to our must-haves and sticking to them. We make these excuses. And one of the things that I always tell people is, excuses are lies that you tell yourself that nobody believes, but you.
Exactly. That's a good definition, Mindy. I like that. It is, and the sad fact is we all too often have to learn the hard way. Uh, and that's what I try to bring to the table, is to stop you from having to learn the hard way. Learn from others' mistakes. Learn from those that have gone before you. Let's pay attention. Do the things right up front. Now, when you make your, and I can see you ready to say something, Mindy. I'm going to jump in here real quick. One of the things that I know to be true is that when you've made your list, and we'll just assume it's a list of 20 items, 20 things that are must-haves. I hear crickets in the background.
You did hear crickets. My granddaughter is here with me, and you did actually hear crickets.
I thought I was getting the ultimate insult here. It's just like, you're really boring. You're really dry tonight, Rick. Let's pick it up here a little bit. What I started to say is that
the list of 20.
If you have a list of 20 must-haves and he or she meets 19 of those, what do you do? Do you settle for 19, or do you hold out for all 20? Well, I contend that if you settle for 19, what you're doing, number one, you are settling. But number two, you are telling yourself, if nothing else subliminally, that you're not worth all 20. You're not worth having everything that you want.
Yeah, I still get intimidated when I hear you say 20 must-haves. That's a pretty tall order, and I get a little bit of a sticker shock there, I suppose. So, but I want to put you in the
Sure, absolutely.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I am absolutely ready.
This is out there for everybody on the internet. Anybody that has access to Twitter is gonna be able to have access.
Bring it on, Mindy.
What are your must-haves?
What are my must-haves? I have a list of about 40. 40, yeah.
Are they all equally important, or do you have them on tiers?
No, I don't believe in they are all equally important. If one is missing, then it's a deal breaker. I won't spend the time going through all 40, but there are some very simple things from showing very simple displays of public displays of affection. Holding hands, stealing a kiss in public. I want somebody that will help me clean the house. I want somebody that's intelligent, but not necessarily educated. I've met a lot of highly educated people that haven't got a lick of sense, and so that's an important aspect. I don't care if you have degrees or not, as long as you're a smart woman. Needs to earn a reasonable living, and the reason I say that is because I want somebody that wants me but doesn't need me. I don't want somebody to depend on me for their lifestyle. I want somebody that is a good decision maker, but will include me in the decision. I want somebody that's roughly 5'5" or taller, because when I'm dancing, I want her to be able to lay her head on my shoulder if she chooses.
Wait a minute, ladies. Did you just hear that? Rick dances.
Yeah, on occasion I dance. And in that vein, I want somebody that has rhythm and that will let me lead.
That's a tall order.
It is. So
the bottom line is, know what you want, and don't be afraid to to expect it and demand it.
That's exactly right. When you know what you want, you're going to find an extraordinary relationship. And the reality is, the more things you have on the list, the longer it will take you to find. But if you're proactive about looking and not sitting home on the couch thinking, well, I'll bring my mate to me. He knows who's right for me. Well, I believe God wants you to be proactive too. If you're sitting at home waiting, it's going to be knocking on the door is the mailman or the UPS man. So unless one of those is in a positive format. Because if you write it in the negative, I don't want this, or no smokers, no this, no that, you're focusing on the negative, and that's exactly what you're going to attract. It's like saying don't think of the color blue. Don't think of the color blue. Don't think of the color blue. And yeah, I see you're frozen. Just come on back when you can. What do you think of? You think of the color blue. And so then you have to take the energy to stop thinking about the color blue, and then come back and start thinking about the color that you do want to think about. Same thing with relationships. When you're working on a relationship, focus on the positive. Everything, in my opinion, it should be listed as must have this, must have that, must be this, must be that, as opposed to no smokers, no drinkers, no. I can't tell you the number of times that I've run into people that have said, yeah, I've said no smokers, no drinkers, and who do I end up dating is the smokers and drinkers, because that's who we attract. Then we typically move on into, once we understand what our must-haves are, then we need to be clear on what our deal breakers are. And those are the things that we need to know up front and be crystal clear on, that you will not accept in a relationship. Typical we hear a lot of are no smokers, no alcoholics, no drug abuse. I was having a conversation with a woman one night, and we got into a conversation and about physical intimacy, and she had made comment that her ex-husband and her had on occasion used pornography to arouse themselves before making love, and she said she enjoyed that, and well, that was a deal breaker for me. So that was something that I had, from a woman I had never even thought of. But yes, women do enjoy pornography as well as as well as a lot of guys. So understand that these lists can grow. When I started my must-have list, I had about 19 items, and it's grown over the time, just simply for the fact that I've dated some wonderful women, and they've had characteristics that I've absolutely loved, but they've also had deal breakers. So, be flexible and open to adding to this list. Don't be afraid to add to the list. These lists are made to be dynamic, or should be dynamic. Once you've made the list, don't stop. And again, it needs to be written so that you can carry it with you and review it on a regular basis. One of the next aspects of understanding what you're looking for is, are you the person that you would love to date? And this is probably one of the hardest things for people to sit back and think about, is, am I the person that I would love to date? Are there aspects of your life that should change? Do you have a mindset that you can't have everything you want? Well, if that's the mindset that you have, that's exactly what you're going to get, is something less than everything that you want. What are your limiting beliefs? Are there things that you need to change in your life? Do you have a negative attitude and you want to have a positive attitude, or you're looking for somebody with a positive attitude? Well, if you're the one with a negative attitude, then that's something that you'll need to work on. There are any number of things. If you're looking for somebody that spends a lot of time in the gym, but you spend a lot of time on the couch, you want somebody that's physically fit, you probably need to get into the gym or do the things that you want that you want them to be doing, so that you can be compatible with them. So a lot of different perspectives there, a lot of different things to think about. And a lot of what we bring to a relationship is based on our past history, our past relationships. Take a look at these relationships. What did you do well in those relationships? What didn't you do well? And when you take a look at the things that you didn't do well, are those things that you can improve on? How do you improve on them? Do you get counseling? Do you get therapy? Do you start getting some self-improvement or self-help books? There's a lot of things that can be done there to move forward. But the idea here is to be absolutely crystal clear on all three characteristics, or all three lists. What are you looking for? What are your deal breakers? And then what do you bring to the table? And if we have anybody out there that has any questions, feel free to fire those in. We've got about another, we'll be here for about another 8 minutes. And and Mindy, if you can get back in, come on back in, because I know you've got some great input. If not, I understand. And have a great vacation tomorrow. So anyway, again, we're talking about creating the lists, the must-have list and the deal breaker list for extraordinary relationships. And one of the things that Mindy had asked me about on what are the things on my list, another one of those things is must be a great communicator, must be willing to and open to talking about anything and everything. Because in an extraordinary relationship, you have to be able to talk about it all. Any subjects that are off the table prevent you from having an extraordinary relationship, because there are subjects and topics that you're not willing to talk about. So with that, we're about ready to wrap it up. I think I've pretty much covered most of the topics, unless somebody has a question or two or three. I'd be happy to hang out for a little bit, but otherwise, we will wrap it up here. Again, my name is Rick Sodebeer. I'm with Love for a Lifetime. I'm an author, a speaker, a dating coach, and a blogger. And you can go to my website, is loveforalifetime.com. That's love, L-U-V, the number 4, a lifetime.com. You can check out my coaching services. I do one-on-one coaching. I do e-coaching. We have group sessions available, small group sessions. Not to mention a number of workshops scheduled for the Kansas City area in this year. The first one is coming up, I believe, on March 19th. Again, go to the website. It's going to be an all-day Saturday event with some great speakers. We're going to be talking about our limiting beliefs. We're going to have a image consultant coming in to talk about our first date outfit. we've got somebody coming in to talk about our personalities and how different personalities impact relationships and how to communicate better with each other. And then, of course, my business associate and I, Chrissy Bash, the photographer and dating coach, and myself will be there talking about these very things, creating your must-have list and your deal breaker list and what you bring to the table. And then we'll be wrapping it up at the end of the day, looking at all the different aspects of relationships and how to be the best person and improve your dating life and get the results that you're looking for. Again, that's an all-day event. It's $149 for the day, and it is a great value when you look at the speakers, the lineup of speakers that we have, and the services that we're going to be offering you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our evening, and we'll look forward to visiting with you all next Wednesday at 7 o'clock right here. We'll post that probably on Monday and with Monday's topic. So if you have any questions, drop me a line on Twitter, or send me a note at rick@loveforalifetime.com. Again, that's love, LUV, the number 4, a lifetime.com. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week and a safe weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope your team wins, and we'll talk to you next week.